Hello friends, my name is Shayla and today I am here with a review slash discussion video for you. Today we are going to be discussing The Poe Clan by Moto Haigo. Now, in the Poe Clan, we are dealing with a race of Vampirella. So essentially these are vampires that's like the easiest way to describe it. But what happens is early on with the Poe Clan, somehow these two children end up transformed into Vampirella. And that does cause some issues, so they have to move around every couple of years because people begin to notice that the children aren't aging, even though they're going up in school and things like that. And so this omnibus number 1 is essentially their backstory and their interactions with people over the years. We focus a lot on the sister, Maribel, in the beginning, and then we focus a lot on Edgar through the second half of this. But Edgar's always kind of in the background protecting Maribel through the whole thing. So obviously Maribel is very beautiful, and so all of these boys her age are just kind of drawn to her. So you kind of see that through the years, Maribel makes these impressions on these young men, and they carry these impressions into their later years. And their children end up reading diaries where their dads are talking about this and all kinds of things. And it all kind of culminates into them discovering that it's the same person that their ancestor knew. And so that makes for an interesting part of the plot. And then we've got Edgar, who's the more mischievous of the two. Edgar likes to stir the pot. Edgar will do anything to protect Maribel, even scare off any of these suitors and things. And so it's just really interesting to watch their dynamic. And then later on in the story, we see Edgar kind of pick out a young man to join the Poe Clan with them. And it's really interesting to see how he goes about choosing and how this young man feels as he, spends more time with Edgar. We see more of those shonen ai elements come in once that character is introduced. So Edgar is obviously attracted to this young man, and this young man is very attracted to Edgar. And so there's points where Edgar starts to, put some energy into getting to know somebody else, and this young man ends up very jealous and some things like that. I'm keeping that elusive because I don't want to completely spoil everything. But the reason why I wanted to have a discussion on this is it's very clear how our modern classics like Sailor Moon and Cardcaptor Sakura got inspiration for their animation style and such from things like the Poe Clan. I'll insert an image here with a side-by-side of something from the Poe Clan and something from Sailor Moon that it keeps recalling to my mind. And just animation-wise, you can definitely see the inspiration for the two. And I do think the Poe Clan has a lot to do with, now in modern shoujo, when we see roses bloom up when something beautiful or something lovey is happening, I think a lot of that originated here because roses are a big point in the plot that, again, I won't share. It's just part of their Vampirella sides. But you can definitely tell that this is a pioneer for modern shoujo and shonen ai, and I think it was so well done. The art is stunning. You get harsh lines, you get the soft lines, you get everything mixed in with these stories, and it's just fantastic. And this particular Fantagraphics copy is very well made. It's like a traditional book spine, so you don't have the glue that breaks, it's sewn together. So that's really, really nice. And I think that's part of why it took so long to even get this. But I have to say, I really think that this is worth, especially if you're a manga collector, I think it's worth at least flipping through, if not owning yourself, because this did a lot for those demographics. And I'm not getting into the demographic discussion today, but I really think that this will just give you an appreciation for how far those demographics have come in blurring the lines between geared towards a boy and geared towards a girl. I don't think demographics should be genderized, in my personal opinion. I guess I am getting into that discussion a little bit. But anyway, I do think shonen readers would enjoy the Po Clan, especially if they like more of those classic shoujo series. I'm talking to you, CJ. If you like things like Sailor Moon or Cardcaptor Sakura or anything like that, I really think you should try the Po Clan, because it's got those dark vampire feels to it, but it also has a lot of the great just storytelling. It feels very episodic at points where, you know, Maribel's gotten to know this young man, and you see him grow, and you meet his children and his grandchildren, and it's just really interesting. I think that I want to read more classic stuff, because this, to me, stands out. Now, I have to say, I had like an existential crisis as I was reading this. I'm like, I like this, but I don't know how much I like this. It's kind of what was going on. But by the end, I'm like, yeah, I want to keep going with this one. So as soon as we get volume 2 of the Po Clan, believe me, you'll be hearing me talk about it. But I do want to try more of these older classic series, because I think the storytelling, it just hits different. And not in a bad way. Sorry, this is heavy, I'm putting it down. I really think that storytelling in the modern age has changed a lot. This is gonna feel more like a slice of life to a lot of people than like a super action-packed shonen. I will say that right out the gate. But I do think that this is something that shonen readers would enjoy. There's a lot going on within the story. And like I say, each chapter is kind of episodic. So each chapter kind of wraps itself. So there's only 5 chapters in this book. And they're all about 100 pages long. So you're getting long chapters. So you're getting very episodic things. And I enjoyed the reading for that. But due to the nature of this kind of a story, your timeline isn't exactly linear. So you do need to pay close attention to where you're at in your timeline, because that'll make a big difference in your enjoyment level if you're feeling lost or chaotic or things. So definitely keep track of that if that's something that would be an issue for you. But all in all, I did end up enjoying the Po Clan. I highly recommend you guys check it out. I do see how things like Sailor Moon and Cardcaptor Sakura got their inspiration from the Po Clan, and I think that's really important to see and to acknowledge. And as a collector, like, this omnibus means a lot to me. I find it very good, very enjoyable. I'm definitely going to check Fantagraphics and see what other classic shoujos they might be hiding in their collection. I heard about the Po Clan from G over at Simply G, and I ended up, you know, reading into it, and I'm like, vampires? Yeah, sure, I like vampires. And yeah, so I ended up really enjoying the Po Clan. Another one that I read recently that's new, dealing with vampires, while I'm in this review, I might as well talk about both of them, was Vampire Dormitory, and that's more of your classic modern shoujo, like where you've got the love triangle and all those kinds of tropes going on within it. And that was a really fun read. Highly recommend you check it out. It's digital release only right now, digital first through Kodansha, but it's still really good. Highly recommend. But yes, the Po Clan, it just stands out and it hits different. And I really think that shonen readers would like it. A lot of them who've tried some of those older series and liked them and haven't liked the more modern things would probably enjoy how this hits. And I think it's good, guys. I really honestly do. Like I said, I was having a bit of an existential crisis with my feelings with it, but the further in I got, the more I really enjoyed it. So this isn't the easiest, smoothest, fluffiest story by any means. So if you're looking for a fluffy story from that cover, that's not what you're going to get. You're going to get a very complicated, complex story, and I love that. So much of shonen, I feel like, is the same. So when I can read something that's different and a little more complex than a lot of those, I tend to enjoy it. I'm not trying to hate on shonen. Believe me, I love my shonen, don't get me wrong. But with the Po Clan, you're going to get this layered, very complex story and layered, very complex characters that you just don't see in many modern manga stories. You find them occasionally, but you don't always have them. So I definitely recommend checking out the Poe Clan if you haven't. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video and discussion. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these more classic shoujo series and any of them that you would recommend that are kind of like the Poe Clan if you've read them. And if not, then I highly recommend checking out the Poe Clan. I think it's great. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.